Kofi as a real main event guy. Like, I feel at the moment, up against Dolph, there's not a lot he's going to get out of this. And, you know, now we even find out, Matt, it's going to go into a cage match. And the way Dolph was trying to sell that, I was like, really? It's not getting me excited. But nonetheless, what did you make of this one, Matt?
Oh, yeah, definitely. I would like to see Kofi fight some more high caliber wrestlers than Dolph Ziggler. Nothing negative against Dolph Ziggler. I thought the guy's amazing. I think he's a great talent. There's a reason why he's been at the level that he's been at for so long. You know, he's very adequate in that ring and knows what he's doing. But I feel like on the night of Super Showdown, this match, I will say, is probably the match I enjoyed the most of the night. I felt like these guys came out there with a plan and a structure, and they nailed it pretty well. They got the story across really well as well. Took you on a bit of a journey there. I did feel the frustration probably that Kofi felt when he was given a little bit of assist, which he didn't ask for. So we'll see how that plays out later on SmackDown and that. But yeah, Dolph Ziggler, it's a bit of a letdown that he's had 2 months off, really. If this had a bit more of a build to it, then perhaps people may have been more invested and thought Ziggler might be with a chance of winning. Yeah,
no, I'm with you there on that one. Next up, we had this crazy video being played, and it was all about the 24 title. Oh my God. One of the worst bits of producing ever. This 24/7 title, Matt, I mean, this is becoming an instant joke to me. That video package that they put together with all those beautiful camera angles, and, you know, they act like the camera isn't even there. They won't even look into the camera. They just sort of pretend it's not there, and then they do close-up shots of their eyes and crap like this. It's comedy, but it's bad comedy. I mean, it's not funny comedy. This is just a very poor attempt. And if you're going to do comedy in wrestling, you got to do it really well. There's no room for mediocre stuff, and this just looked like some really bad stuff that you see on a Saturday morning kids TV. This is terrible. What did you think of that? They put that together, you know, on the plane coming over. What did you make of that?
It's the comedy side of things again. That's always been the side of WWE that hasn't really gelled with me. I mean, I know there's some people that enjoy that, and the kids may be like that, but I feel like for me, the more serious side of it connects with me more. So seeing things like this, it just reminds me of the hardcore title, and it's stuff we've already seen. I remember seeing those hardcore matches when people would sneak into the bedroom and pin someone, you know, and then sneak off with the title, and it's just like treading over old ground again.
Well, I think you're right there, and not only that, it's just going to get worse and worse, because the whole, I mean, at least with the sort of Attitude Era comedy, you could say, well, at least they kind of, you know, like if you look to the stuff with Mankind, like when he done that thing with Vince McMahon and like hit him over the head in the hospital with the bedpan and all that. So I mean, that's a little bit more better than what we got here, but this is just, I don't know. I mean, the fact that they've just introduced this title and it's just getting used the way it is just terrible. But yeah, I didn't enjoy that at all. And then we got a 51-man Battle Royal Rumble. Battle Royal, should I say. What a bloody cluster this was, Matt. I mean, this was awful. This was. There was no spots in it at all. It was like the really old school, just go out and do something and chuck everyone out. Like they probably got told when they were going to go out, but other than that, there were no big spots in it. I heard a lot of the guys that went really weren't happy with this because of their role. They just felt like they were there for the numbers, but yet they wanted to send them all out there. This was just terrible. I mean, the amount of guys that were in this match to sort of do hardly anything with was atrocious. I mean, there was some real talent in the ring. I felt really sorry for guys like, Mustafa Ali and even Elias to a degree. Like, I just felt like these guys they must be thinking, like, what's the point at this point? What did you make of having Mansoor win this whole thing? Is this just a bit of a, like, well, we're going to give you what you want, but not only that, we're going to give you your own star as well. Now, don't get me wrong, Matt, it was a feel-good moment, and I'm sure, you know, with the deepest respect here to our Saudi fans, a great moment for them. I could tell that it did mean something to them, because you got that from the reaction. Like, they weren't just like, they weren't expecting it, let's put it that way. Even they weren't expecting it, because that reaction was there. But man, a year ago, as he said, Matt, on the mic, he was standing up there just as nothing. 1 year, Matt, he's got this. Is this a bit like, if you're like the other wrestlers, is this like a big knockdown on you a bit here, Matt, and thinking, you know, this is just complete rubbish now? Like, they're just giving everything they want. What did you make of this outcome? Because I found it quite surprising. I was like, it is a good moment, but like, you could have had you know, Mansoor have his moment by, I don't know, being like in the last 4, but just getting ever so close, keeping them on their toes a bit, maybe for the next time. I don't know, but to actually go out and win the whole thing and you know, eliminate Elias at the end, I don't know, it just, to me, it just played out really, really odd. Because, I mean, you think when they come over here, Matt, you know, we have lots of UK wrestlers. I've never seen it where, like, any other, you know, country just gets that sort of moment. In fact, they like to sort of bury people in their own backyard most times in WWE. But what did you make of this, Matt?
Oh, this Battle Royal, you know, this is the largest collection of jobbers in one ring I have ever seen. It was almost like the I haven't been on TV in a while Battle Royal. And if there was anyone you'd thought what happened to them, you found them in there. And it's kind of bad for the sort of, you know, the wrestling fans who take it seriously, you know, and like to actually make their own predictions. They would be looking at this match thinking, right, well, realistic as out of 51 men, there's only about 4 or 5 I think could win this.
Yeah.
Which is a massive letdown and tells you about the star power they brought into this match. And the waste of talent almost there. Because, like, if you're looking at only 4 or 5 out of potential 51, then there's something terrible with the booking going on these days. And, yeah, like I said, Mansoor winning, I don't have a problem with it, really. But, you know, like you said, there was no journey there. It was just sort of, do we have anyone from this place? Yes. Well, they can win it then. It's almost like when someone's trying to tell you again, oh, did you know wrestling's scripted? It's like they might as well just flashed it up on the big screen at the back. We made this happen. We predetermined this. They might as well have had those all lit up in the background because it was so terribly obvious.
Yeah, it was a bit of a cheese fest for me. You know, look, I like I say, good respect to our Saudi fans. I'm sure it was a great moment, but I think for everyone else looking in, this was like, what is this? And as Matt said, you know, you are basically saying, yes, we made this ourselves. It pretty much, it's like having UFC, I don't know, like, just literally, like, yeah, when Anderson Silva comes back, of course he's always going to win because he's our legend, so we're going to give him easy fights, but of course that's not happened at all. But do you know what I mean? Like, it's just too perfect. In so many ways, and like you say, there was no journey to it. There's been no build up to this at all. It's kind of like, I just couldn't get my head around it. Now the next match, Matt, this is what got most people talking, I think, by the end of the night. Got to say, did enjoy it. Like, I did feel like this match deserved to be on at the end. Just the reaction that it got. It did feel like it was supposed to be there. But Matt, the match, especially the last 5 minutes of it, and there was only 10 anyway, so it was hard to watch, and I kind of was thinking, like, someone's going to get hurt bad here if this carries on any longer. What did you make of this? This was the big selling point, I guess, to this pay-per-view individually. This was the one that they put out a while ago. And I remember I did say a couple of weeks ago, I felt like this match actually, even though they are guys from the absolute past, if you'd have put this in WrestleMania that we had this year, this would have been a big match with the right promotion behind it. Would have been bigger than Batista and Triple H easily. This would have been that sort of, main event. But Matt, I mean, I don't know. Is this just sort of treading dangerous waters now, just to fulfill, the Prince's dream of having these guys show up? But I mean, if you've got two veterans that are really at the end, I mean, let's face it, Matt. Goldberg, he's 52, Matt, and he's not exactly an active wrestler. He's wrestled when was the last time he wrestled? It was like a couple of years ago, wasn't it? It was last year's WrestleMania, wasn't it? Was it last? No, it was 2 years ago against Brock. Yeah. So I mean, and even before that, he hadn't done anything before that little stint that he had. So this is a guy who's not active. It's not like Ric Flair, who just didn't stop, and even Undertaker. You put him, he's much more active than what Goldberg's been, but. And then you're putting these two guys together. You've got all these injuries that Undertaker's had over the world. You've got someone in there like Goldberg who's got a really dangerous reputation with this type of stuff anyway. Just sort of, I don't know, it's just sort of, in hindsight, you think, why book this? But they did, Matt. I think on paper, had it have all executed perfectly what they wanted, we might have come out of this thinking, actually, this was a bit like, the Brock Lesnar Goldberg match from WrestleMania a couple of years ago, where we actually thought it was really good. They just hit all the impact stuff. But this one, Matt, it certainly didn't have that feel to it by the end of it. And I think The Undertaker's face, I just thought, spoke a million words. Like, you didn't need anything else. You could just literally caption whatever you wanted. As soon as he made that pin, Matt, at the end, that reaction that he gave just was like, yeah, that's what everyone else was thinking. We heard, Matt, that Goldberg pretty much knocked himself out during the match. Not only that, he was, already whacked his head against one of the doors by doing his normal head-butting door routine. Stupid as that sounds, but so he's already bloodied up anyway. Vince was apparently, throwing hissy fits backstage because of the amount of blood that was going out of Goldberg. He was really unhappy about that. Was this just a complete and utter nightmare by the end of it, Matt? When you look back at it, and is this just, are we gonna, much like the DX versus what was that, the last year's match, DX and what do you call it? Who did they go? Yeah, that's it. The Brothers of Destruction. Are we gonna be like looking at it like that? We're never gonna go back to this.
Well, it's not one of those ones that's gonna live in all-time history as one of the greatest, is it? And if there were people sitting around thinking, I wish I got to see that match, I think they may feel differently about it now. I should have started off with the positives, really. What was the good things about it? So they had some good entrances.
Yeah. I think I agree with you.
I think that was it. But other than that, it was just nasty. Even like the stuff they were doing, the moves. I mean, I know that they're supposed to have dangerous moves, but these were dangerous moves. Let's do a tombstone where someone actually gets dropped on their head. Yeah, of course, that sounds fun. And the jackhammer that actually looks like a brain buster, and Undertaker was very unimpressed by that. God, the list just kept on continuing. And the ending, wow, what an ending that was. I could see what they were going for, the reverse of the tombstone. And at the end, Undertaker just thought, forget this. Just chokeslam him, get it done, I want to go home. It's just such a sour taste to leave in the mouth when you think about the time and the money invested in this. And when we started this as well, as soon as this match started, I thought, okay, AEW have done this. They brought back a 50-plus guy, and he had the match of his career. Brilliant. And then you're looking at these two guys, and you're thinking, they're nothing in that category. They should be. I mean, we're talking about Goldust, who was a mid-card, like best of his career kind of guy, and he's surpassing, his expectations now. And we're looking at two legends of the industry in Goldberg and Undertaker, and thoroughly underwhelming.
Yeah, I kind of feel like they should have had somebody a lot younger in with one of these guys. If they're going to have Goldberg come out, you know, he needed to face somebody. You know, even Roman Reigns would have been a better opponent at this one. I would have done that match and had Roman go over. But yeah, they went with this. Just kind of shocking in a way.